In the fall of 2002, I received a joke email from a lady in church that I had we didn't have the best of relationships. And she sent me a joke email about how much I talked and saying I should do something good with it for a change, even though I was her pastor. And I took it and I went around to a couple of church members and said, what do y'all think? Should I try this? A vicar in England had moved the Guinness Book of World Records from 27 hours for the longest lecture/sermon to 48 hours and raised money for his church and did all that good. And I said, well, what should I do? Should I try it? And they were like, oh, Norm, you've come so close so many times. You should. Well, it was just a big joke. I went back to my council at church and said, could we do this Guinness Book thing? And they agreed that they would, and they would get, prepare all the stuff that Guinness said we needed to do, and I would just get ready to preach. This was January, I guess, and we were going to do it April 2003 for Palm Sunday weekend. I would start preaching at 6 o'clock, and the goal was to go 50 hours, break the record by 2 hours, and plus one of the TV stations in our area was celebrating their 50th anniversary, so I thought, great, they'll certainly, follow us and join us. And some of the local people did, especially in Roanoke, followed us. But we started that process. We started singing. They had a couple of rules. Started singing. No, we couldn't sing. We had to talk. Had a couple of rules. Number one, you couldn't, you had a subject. My subject was the revelation of Jesus in the Psalms. You had to go 4 hours without repeating yourself. And every 8 hours, you had a mandatory 15-minute break. Get a snack, whatever. And so we started, and we wanted to see if we could make the gospel as unavoidable as possible. At least that one weekend, that one place, White Memorial United Methodist Church in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I think we accomplished that. We had people come. We had some folks sit with notebook in hand almost the whole time for 50 hours. And went through, and as we went through, the longer I went, your body takes a toll after a while, especially the second mandatory break. Somebody brought me something that I would love to eat, and it about made me sick. So I just quit eating. And so wasting away through the rest of the time. Saturday night into Sunday morning, we had a big crowd, but I was just giving out. My mind, I wasn't sure I was keeping up with. I just wasn't sure I was keeping up with what I was doing. You couldn't repeat yourself, so I thought, oh no, I had 3 notebooks I was working off of. I thought, oh no, I've just picked up the same notebook. I mean, everything was so familiar to me by then. But people helped me. I didn't think I could make it through the night, but people started asking questions. And I could answer their questions. I could take the scripture and apply it immediately to what they were, asking me, and went on through the rest of the night. Made it just fine after that. And about 6 o'clock that morning, we had our mandatory break, and I stopped and said, thank y'all. I could not in any way have made it through the night. And one guy stood up, a member of my church, stood up and said, well, Norm, we didn't ask you any questions, but you did answer everything I was thinking about. And I found out later nobody had said anything all night long. But I heard their voice, I saw their lips move, God had just intervened. And thank you, grace of God. We made it through that morning, but my eyes started giving out. This one quit at 7 o'clock, and then at 10 o'clock when our regular worship service was getting ready to start, this one quit. And I made it, though. I think that was a gift also from God, because God in that hour said, this is what you didn't see with your eyes open. And we walked back through, and God talked about the kind of things, the prerequisites. If we wanted that, like it was that morning, the presence of the Lord to just be able to be felt, and so strong that if you walked into the sanctuary, you were immediately broken. And so that day we finished up, and like again, the presence of the Lord was so real. And I think that one opportunity and the desire just to say, God, we want to, whatever it'll take, we want to make you as unavoidable as possible. Then God will honor that. And God will become totally unavoidable and make a difference not only in your life, but in anybody who gets even close to you in that moment.